Welcome to my channel and welcome to my website. My name is Daryl and this is Programming in Any Language. The website is www.black-duck.com. It's where you'll find all my videos organized in logical order. You can begin with the basics and then move on to the advanced concepts. You can also start with a speed track and build an application from scratch, which should pique your curiosity with a desire to learn more. Well, it's time for a new section. Methods. This one is going to save us a ton of time. And it's going to help us document our code as we write it. We used to call these things subroutines back in the days of BASIC and COBOL. Algorithms are routines that perform a task is what they actually are. Each one can be called many times from many different locations. Basically, they are buttons without the button. Here's a quick demonstration. We're going to take a look at methods right now, and I'm going to show you a simple way you can create a method. It's not complicated. We can make them more complicated, but it's not complicated when you get right down to it. On my screen, as you can see, I have something called the Simple Method Demo program. And as you can see, I got a first name and a text bar here, and a last name, and a text box here. And I got a result with a label sitting here. I've got a clear button and an exit button. I programmed all these things already, and I'll show you those real quickly so you can see what we've got here. Basically, I've got the close. The exit button is sitting here with a close. There's a clear button, which is going to erase or put nulls in the text box, and also a space, nothing in the label, and then it's going to set the focus to the text first name. And the same thing is happening with form load. So when I start the program, it starts that way. And you can see this if I just actually start it up and we take a look at it real quickly. Bang, there it is. And I can type things into it without any problem, and it just works fine. But it doesn't do anything. You know, it's not there. What I'm going to do is create two buttons. A button that's going to simply concatenate Daffy Duck here together and place the results here. And then I'm going to create another button that's going to do the same thing, except it's going to use a method to do that. Okay, so let's take a look at this and see what we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and close this program out. I'm going to go to my design part here, and I'm going to create a new button. So we're going to pull a button down here, and we're going to make this button rather a little bit larger, and we're going to say on there, no method. And we're going to set the format, the font on this thing to be bold and 10, just like I've got everything else set up here, the text boxes and the label, so they're sitting at there. So it'll say no method. And I'm going to create another button like that. Actually, I want to actually call this thing button no method. So we're going to say btn no method. And then I'll make a copy of it right over here. And we're going to call this one method. So let's get rid of the no piece on here. And we'll also change the name of this one from button1 to btn method. And that's it. And let's kind of, let's align them a little bit together so they look a little bit nicer. Let's put this one here and put this one even with that. And then let's take the two and make sure that they are aligned nicely so that they align their tops. That's fine. And we're ready to go. So we're going to save this. Wow, save all. So what I've got here is I've got the two buttons ready to go. We'll do the no method first, no method button first, because you're used to this. You've seen this before. It's very simple. I'm going to bring this in. I'm going to create two variables way up in actually, yeah, I'm going to create the variables up on top because I want to use them again. So I'm just going to pop up with a global area, and I'm going to call it string str first name. And then I'm going to create we'll say it holds first name. And it's string str last name, and it's going to hold the last name. And I'm going to create another one, string str full name. And that's going to be our concatenated name. And now I'm going to go down to that button that we just had set up, the button no method here. All we're going to do here is we're going to take str first name and read in txt first name.txt. Now we're going to take str last name and read in txt last name.txt. Then we're going to say str full name is going to be equal to str first name plus a space plus str last name, which puts the two into that variable, and then it's going to say lbl result is going to be equal to result.text is equal to str full name. And that's the end of it. We'll run this and test it. Start our program. And off she comes. I'll put in Daffy Duck. And I'll hit the no method. And bang, oops, duck claps in there. Why did that happen? Let's see what's going on here. We have an issue. Str, oh, I see what I did. Str full name plus blank. It should be str first name. There we go. If you don't make mistakes, you're not a good programmer. DAFFY, DUCK, no method, bang, Daffy Duck, just like we want. Now, we're going to make the method button do the same thing, except we're going to use methods to do this. So let's look at this. We're going to, let's create two methods for the heck of it. And I'm going to go down this button, and I'm going to create the click event. So now we have a button method click event. What I'm going to say is, I'm going to say get input data. And I'll put a couple of brackets around it, and then I'll go out here and say call get method. Then I'm going to say print display output, and put a semicolon after that, and this we'll call print a screen. Okay, what I've done is I've created two calls to a method, but the methods aren't created yet. Now I'm actually going to create these things. So what I'm going to do on here is I'm going to say private void get input data, and I'm going to set up some braces. So what I've done here is I've created the beginning of a method, and what it is, it's a method called get input data, and it's going to call the data from the text boxes. I need to do that though, and actually I can use the same code I have up here to do that kind of thing, because I've got my variable set up on top. So I'm just going to do this, and bang, get my input data. That's all it needs to do. And now I want to actually create another one called display output. So we'll do the same thing. I'm going to say private void display output with a set of brackets around it and then braces. And we've created another method down here. And this thing is going to do this bottom part. It's going to take the str full name and it's going to concatenate the two. And let's see if this works. File save and start. Our program comes up. We'll put in Daffy, put in duck, and hit method. It works. Now let's take a look and see what it's actually doing so you get an understanding for this thing. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the button method here, and I'm going to put a breakpoint in there. And I'm also going to bring in my watch so we can actually see what's going on with this thing. And I'm going to run the program again. And we're going to type in Daffy and duck. And I'm going to click the method button. What happens is it stops right at the beginning of this. And I'll hit the F11 key to go forward. It's going to go to get input data. So what's happening now, let's bring our watch key down here. And let's go ahead and we can watch our variables then. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add some data to this. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to grab this string first name and I'm going to add it to the watch. I'm going to grab the last name and add it to the watch. And I'm going to grab the full name and add it to the watch. Now I'll be able to follow what it actually does when it goes through this thing. Remember, we're stopped at this point right here where it says get input data. I'm not going to press 11 key, the F11 key. It's going to jump down on my first method. So I do that, and it jumps down to here, getting into there. As soon as I do that, it attempts to get the first name and put it into the variable. And it does that. Daffy pops up into the variable. It now is going to get the last name. Hit F11, duck comes in there. It now has finished this method, so it goes back to where it came from. And it goes down to the next method, display output. And it's going to jump down to display output. Display output is going to take the full name, and it's going to concatenate these two and put it in full name. And there you can see it sitting right in here. So it's sitting in memory in the variable at this point in time. We'll tell it the label to actually go ahead and print the full name, and it does. And we'll see our program come up. Once it goes back to here to display output and finish this particular line. When it does that, it goes out, and the program is finished, and it comes back, and it's done. So what's happening here is you're creating methods that do the same work that our no method button did, really. And you're saying, well, why do this? It seems more complicated. Yeah, for this little simple program, it probably is. But what you're saying here is you can actually write code that says something meaningful. Get input data, display output, and then have that routine down below where it just simply does that. And the second thing is you can use this method in other parts of your program. Rolling a dice, for example. You might have call a dice roll. Checking for the winner of a tic-tac-toe game, something of that nature. So what this does, it allows you to create methods that can be used over and over again and repeated, then changed without touching these things. And you can do a lot more, which we'll see in future videos. So let's kill this, and that's a real simple explanation of what a method is, the basic method. Did you notice that the method names chosen were actually descriptive? There's really no reason you need comments. The method name is self-explanatory. The comments were still put in because it is good programming practice, but they can be short and sweet. So basically, methods can be used to break a complex program down into small, manageable pieces. This is known as divide and conquer. The smaller the pieces of code are, the easier it is to understand and write. This is known as modularization. There are two types of methods. The one you just saw was a void method. It simply executes a group of statements and then terminates. It consists of a header and a body. The header is that first line of code at the beginning of the method. The body is a collection of statements between the braces that follow the heading. A value returning method, the second type of method, returns a value to the statement that called it. We didn't see that. Instead of using the word void in the method heading, it uses the data type that it is returning. We haven't seen these yet, but we will soon. It's like a void method in that it contains a group of statements that perform a specific task. And you simply call it. What's different is that it returns a value to the calling part of the program. Taking a quick look at the method heading, we can see that it contains the access modifier. It's either public or private. The return type is either void or it's a data type for the value being returned. We used void in the example we just saw. The method name you already know. It's the name you gave the method, the name you used to call it. The parentheses at the end are something new. They are used to contain parameters. In other words, you can pass variables or values to a method and the method can receive them. This is the part that takes a little time to learn. And we will spend time learning about this in future videos. For now, take the time to create a few of your own void methods. They are easy to create and easy to use. And I'll be back in the next video to delve deeper into methods. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to use the website for easy access to all my videos. And if you get a chance, please subscribe. That way you'll be notified when something new is available. We'll see you in the next video. Take care.